Thanks for staying up with us tonight. I'm Matt Breen. Jessica Bowman has the night off. Over a dozen citizens of McCook Lake, South Dakota, affected by catastrophic flooding in June, met tonight to urge a change in leadership in North Sioux City. KTIV's Hava North has more on why.
A change of leadership. That is what a group of residents from North Sioux City are proposing after what they call a lack of action from city officials in the wake of flooding in June.
This is a very frustrated community. There is nobody happy with the way things that are going, and even those non-affected that have observed this going on, they're shocked at just the lack of really action from mostly the city from where our standpoint.
City Council member Joan Christensen says legally they are doing everything they can do to help.
We have FEMA in here and the state in here. We have to follow all the laws, and that always slows things down.
Christensen says Blue Cell, a national recovery agency, was also brought to help with recovery efforts.
When you have a national disaster recovery company that works on disasters all over the United States, and they have never seen anything like this, how could we know anything about it?
Residents of McCook Lake say those unknowns and unanswered questions are what led them to seek change. That change will be up to the people of North Sioux City.
But it's going to be the choice of the people. It's going to be by a referendum if people want to vote on changing the structure of the government in North Sioux, and it would change from a 9-person city council to a 5-person at-large commission.
Johnson says they need 500 signatures for the petition to be accepted. He says they are quickly reaching that number. In North Sioux City, South Dakota, with Chief Photographer Acacia Phillips, Hava North, KTIV News 4.
That group plans on holding another meeting in a week.